Morning. We are in Kilheim, just outside of Nuremberg, about 2 hours away actually. We've had some mechanical difficulties last night on the boat, so we pulled off here on the side of the road, so to speak, on the Danube-Main Canal, and we're going to take motor coaches into Nuremberg. Hopefully the ships are fixed. We're back on board this evening. So we're off to Nuremberg by motor coach today.
Going on without the boat.
And you see this massive tower. It was actually, it's original. It was finished in the 1300s and rounded in the 1500s. And below it is the wall from the 15th century over to the right. But look over to the left. Despite the scaffolding, you can see the imposing neo-Baroque facade of the central railway station. And it has 25 platforms altogether, and that's one of the reasons this fantastic fortification and defense system. Nuremberg had such a fantastic defense system. It was never taken by any invading force from the 1300s onwards. It's no wonder if you have a wall like this one. It's the longest, oldest wall in Central Europe, just over 3 miles long today. Keep looking over to the right and you'll see the second large round tower, also original, built and rounded at the same time. The Congress was one of the big propaganda events out here in the 1930s. From 1933 to 1938, every September, for the first week of that month, thousands of people came to Nuremberg, most of them to this part of the city, and they attended these mass propaganda events. The main message during this big propaganda week was that Adolf Hitler is now the solution to all of Germany's problems. That was the central message, to go out from on the top of that, and that's how big it would have been inside had they finished it. It's pretty big now, of course, but a third higher again, and a roof on the top of that. Now the outside of the building was actually finished. The section of the wall that the Nazis had constructed, it was covered in granite. Inside though, here you can see it's very much an unfinished building. They would have covered all of the red brick here in marble. So marble on the inside and granite on the outside. If you look immediately over to the right at ground level, you'll see this roofing area, and underneath the roof you'll see lots of planks of wood and other objects all stored underneath the roofing here over to the right. What is it? It's the world famous Nuremberg Christmas market. It's actually stored here up until the last week of November. But let's go back to the Nazi building. Look up the walls, and you'll see roughly 2/3 of the way up the wall here, you'll see what look like big noses sticking out all the way around the inside of the inner courtyard. And they are actually the ends of concrete pylons. Now, at about that height, sloping gradually down to the ground, that's where the seating would have been, and also on the ground as well. They wanted to get 50,000 people in here for the congresses. But as I said, that never happened, it never will. It was never finished and never used by the Nazis. I talked to you about our work as educators. There's a colleague of mine now over to the left. I did what...
The Zeppelin Field in Nuremberg, where the Nazi rallies were held. Up there is where Hitler would stand. There's the far tower, the field, and a near tower. Each had 6 flags, and there are 34.
Before they go into this show. That's what it was. It was a huge show, a massive emotional experience. Those doubting individuals go in as such, but they come out, yeah, as convinced members of the national community. Because when they go in, they are then confronted with 160,000 people who found what they're looking at.
A further ritual, honoring the dead. Melde 20.000 Mann in Essen angemeldet. This commemoration
In 1945, at Nuremberg's Hall of Justice, Allied powers gathered, seeking accountability. Today, Courtroom 600 is one of the most visited sites in the city.
You come to the building, you walk through the door, and you come into this courtroom. It really hits you.
We have to decide whether we accept it or not. I'll be telling you more about this idea when we get you into the courtroom. Hopefully we will be able to get you in there. I'll tell you a little bit about the first trial of these 21 top Nazis, give you a little idea of the drama of the courtroom, and also tell you why I think it's so important. And then we'll bring you back out onto the coach.
This is the place where international justice was spoken for the first time.
In the wake of World War II's devastation, the world sought answers and found them in Nuremberg.
The accused were sitting here. People like Hermann Göring right here in that corner. Next to him, Rudolf Hess, Ribbentrop, Albert Speer, Julius Streicher, people from the armed forces.
With the world watching, the Allies knew a fair trial was critical, and
after almost 1 year, they came to Judgment Day. 12 received a death sentence, 3 acquittals, and the rest received long-term imprisonment or life-term imprisonment and were sent then to this specific prison in Berlin-Spandau.
ultimately the trials created a powerful framework for judging future wars. As Nuremberg was a radical departure in the method of assessing responsibility and assigning relevant punishment.
Normally they say the government acted and not the people inside. This was the first time where they said, no, not a government acts, the people are acting. And that people within a government were made accountable. Without Nuremberg, there would be no UN Criminal High Court, and trials against people in Rwanda, against Milosevic from Yugoslavia. And this makes it a very important place.
Perhaps the chief US prosecutor, Robert H. Jackson, said it best. If we can cultivate in the world the idea that aggressive war-making is the way to the prisoner's dock rather than the way to honors, we will have accomplished something towards making peace more secure.